Hello, everyone. I was invited to speak a bit about my process. Thanks. And here I am. We start from the concepts and the ideas, because that's supposedly where you start. And I just collect them in lists. Like this one is from last year. Just ideas in lists, and I also connect these kind of mood boards. And it's just, this is for Daydreamer, which is a demo I made earlier this year. And I wanted to have this kind of style that's between photograph and collage and a bit surreal or unreal. And it's a bit like a journey. I imagined that the demo you would kind of transform, and you would go to different environments, and you would feel like you're on a train or on a car or something like that. But in the end, Daydreamer was just a juxtaposition of 3D fractals and line-rendered dancing sequences. So it was not at all what I had planned. So I'm not sure how useful this is. I think it's good to collect ideas and images to build some kind of aesthetics over time, a taste of your own. And if you want to use concepts like a driver, then maybe you have to adapt it so it's also doable. I wasn't able to do it for Daydreamer. And now most of the talk is going to be more about technology and the tools, so we can geek out. And we ask us this question: why is development so tedious still? Like, we want to have more fun, we want to keep iterations time slow, and we want to reuse. Did you try to reuse some of your code? I did it many times, and most of the time I use it once. And I still keep making these systems. So it seems like I don't really learn. I don't learn this lesson that I cannot evaluate what's general and what's not. But I think it's also kind of what I like. I like to build these systems, so I just continue doing it. So this is the expectation. Like, we want to have a tool, and each time we make a new production, we make the tools a bit better, and that means it's a lot easier to make the thing. And for me, it's still like the bottom one. I mostly work on the tools and rush the production at the end, and they have to debug a lot, and it doesn't feel optimal. But I keep doing it. So how can we leverage the power of Unity to make demos? I don't know, because that's not really my focus. I think it's pretty fun to make the demo tool into a visual MIDI synth. And usually when you make a demo, you make the audio in the music software, then you export it, you import it into your demo tool, or you load it from the code. And then if you change the music, you go back and you have to export it again. So I was thinking, if we put the visuals in the same timeline as the music, it will be a lot nicer. So, demo time. Here we have Unity. And I will not talk about Unity. I assume most people know what it is. And if you don't know what it is, you can see kind of a bit what you can do with it. If I play here, we have to wait for Unity apparently, because yeah, that's how it is. This is one of the drawbacks. It's on a future slide. And you see, and nothing happens. It's just black. And that's because it's just a MIDI slave. So here is the Reaper. It's the music software I use to make music and also now to trigger the visuals. So here, if I play, and if I stop, it just disappears. But this means I can kind of work on both the music and the visuals at the same time. So how does this work? If we want to turn something on, it's pretty easy. We just use like the keyboard keys. And if we want to do like a slider, MIDI also has this continuous controllers, right? But we want to also be able to do sequencing. Like we want to have time codes. So if we look here a bit closer, let me zoom in here. Here you can see how it works. I will go in a bit more detail. So these two values, this continuous controllers, they encode the frame. And with two, we get about 4.5 minutes of a timeline. And then there's the two note numbers. And this is because it becomes like this kind of database problem. Basically, you have to make a transaction. So when the note number turns on, then it means the full value is valid. And I tried to make this simpler, but it was pretty. It seems like when the MIDI stream is passed, it never guarantees where it will cut it, and it will be delayed until the next buffer. So if you want to have transactions, you have to kind of build it in. And this was the way I did it. And I also used this value here, so you can see if I in the music software, I can use this kind of fade in to control the fade in of the clip. So that's fun. Yes, I just dealt with that. And these, of course, I wrote the tool, so I don't have to make these myself manually. So I'm not sure this is a good way to make Unity demos in Unity. But I also want to explore like software architecture and languages. So that's why I did it in this strange, weird way. So Unity, let's what I show you here, and Reaper is this music software. And then it's my messy demo framework, which is basically C# code. And inside it, there's a custom reactive programming language. So if we go back, lower the volume a bit now. Let's remove the fade in again. So here is like a specification. So there's some nodes and there are components, and there are, here I bind all the properties to the MIDI events. And I will try to find the camera. Here I can add something. I don't know if you can see what I'm typing. Probably not. Can you see anything? Or can I improve the... This was not tested. Sorry about that. So what I'm doing now, I'm just adding a sinus to the orbit. And it does not work because I put it in the wrong place. Okay, yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, now it works. I don't know why it should always work. But yeah, that's how I deal with the thing. I can change the expressions here, how the properties react to the MIDI. So I use this, the clarity of reactive language as a glue. So then I use another tool that I also made long ago. And it's this tool. It's a JavaScript-based kind of graphing and live programming tool. So you can plot graphs like this. You can create variables. You can have transforms, like if you want to just move a curve around, you can do it with this transform here. You can also automate or animate rather. So this is what I use to, if there's any kind of mathematics, I can prototype here first, or an algorithm that's a bit more complicated, so I get real-time feedback. Wolfram Alpha is an online tool that I use to simplify mathematics. And it's like you basically just write simplify. And it will kind of simplify pretty well for you. I use the standard tools like VS Code, Obsidian, Notepad. And LLMs, yeah, I used it to translate between code. It works pretty well. Like when I prototype in MATLAB and I need to bring it back to C# or to HLSL, I sometimes use the LLMs. Also, boilerplate code are pretty good if you have it inside the editor integration. So what's good about Unity is really great hardware support. Like, it's fun to work with it, connect with the 3D displays and VR. And C# is actually pretty nice. I worked with C++ for many years, and I felt like I was forced to work with C#. But after a while, I really don't want to go back for a number of reasons. I mean, depending on what you want to do, but for most things, I would say I would prefer C# now. Multi-platform builds, yeah, managing build systems are never fun, so robust, somewhat, yeah. But, yeah, no runtime creation of shaders. This is mostly not a problem, but for what I want to do, it's a bit of a problem, because I want to make kind of a general tool that I can run standalone eventually. Future direction is controlled by corporate investors. Yeah, something happened last year that was pretty annoying. Slow C# hot reload. That's what you saw in the beginning of the demo there. You didn't start for a while. Lowers your demoscene cred. That's also a bad thing. I try to minimize the Unity usage. So I only use custom shaders, no compute shaders. I don't use the Lightning pipeline. I only use mesh renderer and not procedurally. And the reason for this is because I want to actually have this opportunity to have. Let me show you. Like if there's some problem with this thing I'm making, I can go in and inspect. And I can inspect even runtime things like runtime textures. I can see the dimensions. And that's very useful. And I kind of gotten used to this, and I think it's a very good thing to have. I also don't use the Unity timeline, obviously. But if you want to make demos and not do some strange MIDI experiment, then you might want to use the Unity timeline, of course. Yeah, I did an experimental. Since I'm not really using any advanced stuff, I tried to port it over to Godot. So I ported like a subset of Unity to Godot. It's on GitHub here. So you can see it's very basic. It's just running a shader with some vertex. but the Godot version is actually running kind of Unity-looking scripts. They work in both platforms. Yeah, when I was making this presentation, I kind of realized that I probably just need to stop adding things to the tools, and they will mature. But the question is, can I stop adding things to the tools? And probably I cannot. That's it. And you can get links to these things at this address. There is source code for some of the things, like the line renderer has a source code released last year. The links are all here, but it's not the latest versions. And I'm open to share. If someone wants to use this kind of MIDI sync, then just ask me. I can clean up the code and put it on GitHub as well. And if someone has messed around with declarative, two-way reactive programming languages, come and chat about it, because that would be fun. I think that's all, and I'm happy to take questions and show more if there are any. That's it, I guess. Thank you a lot.